Breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
And that breaking news right now at noon, a plane crash in Harnett County. What we're learning about the moments before that plane went down in smoke.
Plus, lights out. Dozens of people are without power after last night's severe weather. Why it could take all day to restore.
And that storm is long gone. The next thing that we're watching is intense heat that will happen early next week. What about the weekend? We'll take a look.
Breaking right now, the FAA is investigating a plane crash in Harnett County. This is a look at the scene from Sky 5 earlier this morning. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Renee Chu.
And I'm Jeff Hogan. Good to have you with us this noon. We know 2 people were on board that plane when it crashed on the property of a boat dealership on Holly Springs Church Road. We have live team coverage for you. First, WRAL's Grace Haba is live in Harnett County. Grace.
It definitely has been a very upsetting start to the day for people here in this area of Harnett County who say they watched a plane crash just behind me here off of Holly Springs Church Road. You can see here several law enforcement vehicles by a business that a neighbor tells us is a boat repair shop just on the other side of this field. Sky 5 flew over the scene earlier this morning. Take a look at the video that it shot. You can see an area by a boat that has a blue tarp over it, and on the ground nearby it's covered in black ash. You can also see something nearby that's bright yellow on the ground. A woman who watched this crash says that she has never seen anything like it before. Take a listen to what she saw.
I looked up and I saw a small yellow plane spinning, and I thought it was doing a maneuver. And then as it got closer, I started thinking, oh, pull up, because it was getting really close. And then all of a sudden, it just slammed into the ground.
Marilyn says that when she saw the plane crash and it be covered in flames, her first thought was to see if she had any fire extinguishers laying around that she could use before calling 911 to report what she saw. So again, a very upsetting day here for her and other neighbors who watched this all unfold. We are still working to gather more information about what exactly caused this crash and the plane that was involved, as well as anyone who was on board and their conditions. We'll keep you updated both on air and online at WRAL.com as this development unfolds. For now, in Harnett County, Grace Haba, WRAL News.
And here in the WRAL Live Center, we do have a statement issued by the FAA shortly after that crash happened. It reads that an avian Pitts S2B crashed near Broadway, North Carolina, around 9:30 this morning. The National Transportation Safety Board will be investigating. The NTSB will be in charge of the investigation and will provide further updates. Now, I want you to take a look at your screen because we did some checking as to what this type of aircraft is like, an avian S2B. This is an example of what it could be, and depending on the make and model, the one that crashed this morning might be a smaller version of what you're seeing on the screen. But this type of aircraft was big back in the 70s with air shows, known for its ability to perform acrobatic moves in the air. It can seat up to 4 people depending on the make and model. Again, the one that crashed might be a smaller version of what you're seeing on the screen. We'll continue to monitor this story here in the WRAL Live Center during this noon hour and bring you any new developments as they come into the newsroom.
Taking a live look outside right now, North Hills. A nice day it is outside. Enjoy it while you can. Temperatures are expected to heat up into the weekend. And meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner is tracking how hot it will get. Elizabeth.
It's pretty comfortable out there right now. I was out and about, especially in the shade. The big difference today compared to what we've seen the last several days is our humidity is down. And of course, we measure the moisture in the atmosphere with the dew point. It's down to 61, and it had been, 70, even into the mid 70s just a few days ago. So this is feeling very nice. You can see how it hits nice on the muggy meter. 84 degrees, lots of sunshine. This is a look at our temperature and heat index. And you'll notice no difference from Durham and Raleigh from the temperature to the heat index. The heat index is on the right. The temperature is on the left. And so that's what happens when the moisture drops out of the atmosphere. The temperature feels like the temperature. There is no heat index that you have to worry about. We're going to keep it nice and low all the way up through the evening. And then it begins to creep up a little bit. It still stays fairly fairly low for us tomorrow. Now, it's still going to be a hot afternoon. We'll see high temperatures in the low 90s. We are rain-free. It should be a very comfortable evening if you happen to be out and about. Saturday will feel okay. It'll feel more like mid-90s instead of 90 like today. But by Sunday, you really may want to hold off on those outdoor plans. It's going to feel more like low to mid 100s. And then we're going to see even hotter temperatures for Monday and Tuesday. Highs will be at 100 and the heat index 104 to 109. I'll show you how many days in a row we could see this intense heat next week coming up.
That's just sweltering. Elizabeth, thank you. Duke Energy is dealing with downed trees all over Durham County. It's not a large number of customers who don't have power, but the repairs are complicated. WRAL's Monica Casey is live at one of those trouble spots. And Monica, where you are involves a road closure.
Renee, that's right. We're here on Highway 98 in Durham, and you can see here behind me about 10 power poles are down. That impacts about 40 people, but this road is also closed, and this is affecting many more. This is a major road here in Durham. Now, further up the street here is the Durham Ridge Assisted Living Facility. It's on the other side of the road closure. Broadcasted by radio traffic shows first responders had issues getting into that facility early this morning.
Literally the top of a power pole crossing the entrance to the nursing facilities. I don't know how this is going to happen.
Now, Jeff Brooks with Duke Energy tells me downed trees are primarily to blame for situations like this, and they're coordinating with DOT to get these repairs done. Right now, Duke Energy estimates power will be back around 10 this evening. If you are in this area of Durham and you're traveling on Highway 98, you're going to need to take a detour. If you're coming into Durham from the east, you're coming this direction, you're going to want to take Mineral Springs Road as a way to get around all of this. Live in Durham, Monica Casey, WRAL News.
Search crews found the body of a missing fisherman in Jordan Lake. Sky 5 video was over that search this morning. The Chatham County Sheriff's Office identified the man as 21-year-old Nestor Ramirez Menivar. They say he was fishing near the rocks just below the Jordan Dam there last night when the storms hit and he fell in. The area below that dam is known for fast-moving water and slippery, uneven terrain.
15 people are without a home after fire at an apartment complex near Jones Franklin Road in Raleigh. The WRAL Breaking News Tracker was on the scene this morning at Bluebird Court. More than 60 firefighters responded to the fire. They say the storm caused a tree to fall onto a power line, and that sparked flames in the attic, but did not spread to any living spaces. Crews were able to restore power at just after 5 in the morning. Nobody was hurt. Police in Zebulon say someone started shooting inside the community park during a private event. In a statement, town leaders say no one was hurt. On-site security shut down the private event after shots were fired. The town says its Juneteenth celebration scheduled in the park for tomorrow will go on as planned.
Out Raleigh Pride kicks off later this evening, and while crews set up for the festival on Fayetteville Street, organizers and police are rolling out extra safety measures. WRAL's Liz McLaughlin is live in downtown Raleigh with those preps. Liz, good afternoon.
Jeff, good afternoon. Workers behind me here are installing barricades and some fencing, gearing up for the 13th annual Pride here downtown. Organizers tell me this year's event features more safety measures as some volunteers have raised concerns about recent anti-LGBT rhetoric and vandalism of Pride flags across the Triangle. City workers locked metal barricades into place this morning, blocking off streets and marking the footprint where Pride events will fill Fayetteville Street starting tonight. Volunteers added splashes of color too, painting rainbows to add to the celebration, expected to draw thousands. At a Creative Mornings gathering this morning, Babe Haven vocalist Lily Della Penna spoke to crowds about why safe spaces remain vital for the queer community.
It's for people who may feel kind of outcasted by everyone else, and it's especially important right now because there is some scary stuff going on in the world and in this country. It's more important than ever to lift marginalized voices up. That means queer people, trans people, people of color.
And organizers tell me about 150 trained volunteers will work alongside Raleigh Police and private security. They're also taking measures to beat the heat, including water refill stations, misting tents, and nearby businesses will serve as some cooling stations. It all kicks off tonight. Adults only celebration starting at 6 p.m. and then that's until 10. And then tomorrow, a family-friendly celebration from noon until 7. Live in Raleigh, I'm Liz McLaughlin, WRAL News.
Housing, tariffs, and public safety are major topics at the forefront of this year's U.S. Conference of Mayors. Leaders are in Tampa, Florida, to discuss some of the most pressing issues facing America's cities. Raleigh Mayor Janet Cowell is among the 200 mayors there. She says navigating changes to federal grants and funding is among her priorities.
We have lost some grants on electric vehicle charging stations. Another grant that was clawed back was on forestry and planting trees in Raleigh. So looking for how to navigate that or find alternative sources.
The mayor also discussed possible facility upgrades for the NC Courage women's soccer team in Wake County. The mayor's conference runs through Sunday.
New at noon, the Israel Defense Forces released new video showing fighter jets taking off and heading to strike Iran. This comes after Iran launched a barrage of missiles at Israel. 17 people were hurt. 2 of those people were severely injured, including a 16-year-old boy. Mike Tobin reports from Tel Aviv.
Israel and Iran are still exchanging strikes as the conflict enters its second week. And while President Trump considers U.S. airstrikes on Iran's nuclear facilities, a big push is underway to get both sides back to the bargaining table. The head of the International Atomic Energy Agency tells Fox News he's been in touch with the Iranians and President Trump's special envoy, Steve Witkoff. He's stressing that there's no proof Iran is in the process of building a nuclear weapon and a diplomatic solution is still possible.
There is a way to take this danger or this concern out of the table in a negotiated way.
Meanwhile, Iran's foreign minister meeting with his European counterparts in Geneva on Friday, hoping to come to consensus on the nuclear issue. But he's also claiming Iran rejected the idea of peace talks until the Israeli airstrikes stop.
We are not seeking negotiations. It is the Americans who want talks, but we made it explicitly clear to them that as long as this aggression continues, there is absolutely no room for diplomacy.
And with President Trump saying he'll make a decision within the next 2 weeks, diplomats from the West are trying to make it clear to Iran this could be the final round of diplomacy before those bunker buster bombs start falling.
President Trump is giving them one last chance before really hitting pedal to the metal here.
That was Mike Tobin reporting. And one last chance for a look at stocks this week before it shuts down for the weekend. New York Stock Exchange was closed yesterday for Juneteenth, back open again. Really, though, the Dow Jones Industrial Average spent most of the morning in positive territory, up 87 points right now. The other 2 major indices, NASDAQ and S&P 500, both in the red right now, negative territory.
Gas prices are up. Data released by AAA earlier this morning shows the average price for a gallon of regular in North Carolina right now is $2.93. That's up 8 cents from a week ago. In Raleigh, the average is $2.96, and nationwide, it's around $3.22 per gallon. Gas prices are expected to keep rising as a result of the ongoing conflict in the Middle East. An analyst with Gas Buddy says prices could rise 10 to 20 cents. Diesel could climb 15 to 25 cents in the coming days. As for why, analysts say when there's instability in one major oil-producing region, prices tend to rise everywhere. Not because of an immediate supply issue, but because of fear that one could happen. Fear is often reflected in oil futures markets, and that affects gas prices. Oil and gas prices also affect the cost of transporting goods throughout the supply chain.
Next at noon, Chris Brown is going to trial. The singer's plea in an alleged nightclub attack in London.
Also, a children's cough syrup is recalled. Why the FDA says it should be pulled off shelves.
Plus, 4th of July travel. The records AAA predicts could be set this Independence Day.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.
Happening now in the WRAL Live Center. We want to take you right to this information we just confirmed with Clayton Police. And with the help of Google Maps, we were told that somebody walked in front of the path of an Amtrak train in the 400 block of Front Street. And with the help of Google Maps, you can see right here, it's right near the Light Church, and you can see the railroad tracks right there. We're told that this happened just after 11 o'clock this morning. The train is currently right now stopped on Central Street. Police have not released the identity of the person who walked in front of the path of that train and died. Of course, we're working to get that information. The investigation is ongoing. Of course, we have Sky 5 on the way to that scene right now. As soon as Sky 5 gets there and we get any new information, we'll be sure to update you here in the WRAL Live Center.
A man convicted of a Youngsville murder died in custody earlier this month. This is video from 2022 when Terrence Hartsfield was charged with murder after driving a woman's body to the Youngsville Police Department. He was convicted of shooting Jacqueline Beckwith in 2024. The State Department of Corrections confirms that Hartsfield died at Tabor Correctional Institution on June 9th. He was found unresponsive in his cell in the middle of the night. He was projected to be released in the year 2056. The investigation into his death is ongoing.
Chris Brown will go to trial next year. Today, the singer pleaded not guilty to a charge in connection with an alleged nightclub attack in London. His trial date is set for October of next year. Brown is accused of attacking a music producer back in 2023 and hitting him several times with a bottle. He's charged with one count of causing grievous bodily harm. Brown could face between 2 and 16 years in prison if convicted.
New video shows the aftermath of flooding and a rock slide that closed a section of I-40 for 2 weeks. This is near the North Carolina-Tennessee border, the same area damaged during Helene. The interstate is blocked in both directions. Crews are working to clean up the mud and debris and assess the damage. Officials say people were trapped in homes and cars, some on top of their vehicles to escape the flooding. Images from the Tennessee side showed vehicles submerged in floodwater. No injuries have been reported there. Detours are set up to get around the closure.
Authorities in southern Mexico are assessing the damage after Hurricane Eric hit the country. At one point, a person died because of the storm, and officials say a 1-year-old boy also drowned in a swollen river. Hurricane Eric made landfall yesterday morning. Authorities have reported landslides, downed power lines, and some flooding. Didn't give a direct hit to Acapulco, but it was very close, just to the south of Acapulco.
Yeah. Well, after all the talk of severe weather, we're just grateful for quiet, calm weather and lower humidity. That's the real deal here on this Friday.
I mean, the Muggy meter says nice in June. That's a good thing, Elizabeth.
We'll take it. Get outside and enjoy it like these folks are. Look at that. Well, they're just lined up out there at, of course, the resort there at Pinehurst Country Club. It is the time to get outside, that's for sure. It will get hot later this afternoon, but if you have a window, now or even a little bit later on in the evening, I know there's some folks who are having to do some cleanup. We had 40 reports of wind damage with that storm overnight last night, and that did cover almost the entire viewing area. A lot of folks saw that. It's 84 right now, but the dew point is down at 61, and this is a very comfortable feel. And like we talked about earlier, it just means that it's not going to feel any hotter than 84. It's not a temperature of 84 feeling like 95 or anything like that, but we will hit 90 to 91 this afternoon. It just won't feel as sticky as it has been lately. But we only have a small window before it goes right back up, and we're into some intense, dangerous heat Sunday into next week. Right now it's 84 in Durham and Raleigh, as well as Fayetteville, 81 Goldsboro, 82 Rocky Mount. Looking at temperatures mostly in the 80s in the Triangle, 84 in Apex, but 79 in Garner and Knightdale, 81 in Durham, 82 degrees in Clayton. Around town, again, we do hit low 90s for this afternoon, but practically no humidity. Keeps it right there. And once the sun sets, or if you can find yourself in a shady spot, it feels very comfortable. And of course, out Raleigh on Fayetteville Street is having one of they have a lot of different events happening, but the evening event starts at 6 o'clock. It'll be 87 and then 84 at 7 o'clock. And in shady spots, it should feel very comfortable. Today is the first day of summer. Kind of ironic that it feels so comfortable compared to what we're about to see. It is, of course, June 20th this year. It means the Earth's axis reaches its maximum tilt toward the sun. And so we see a lot of daylight and the heat begins to build. It is the longest day of the year where we see the most daylight. How about what happens next? Today, we have 14 hours and 35 45 minutes of daylight. If we give it another month, it's 14 hours and 14 minutes. So just a small change through July 20th. But then it's really different by August, 13 hours and 19 minutes, and then 12 hours and 12 minutes September 20th. So pretty quickly, we lose that daylight. And that helps to cool things off for the fall. In the meantime, this high pressure system is building in. High pressure tends to sink, compress, and heat things up. And that's what we'll see. Today, 92, feeling like 96 tomorrow. I mean, that's hot, but you look at 102 Sunday and definitely 110 Monday, 113 Tuesday. You shouldn't be trying to do anything outside. Already, Monday and Tuesday are WRAL weather alert days. That heat index 104 to 109. It'll be dangerous to be outside. On Monday, we have a major risk for heat-related injuries like heat exhaustion, that sort of thing. And then it goes up to an extreme risk on Tuesday, and that continues into Wednesday as well. So we're going to hit 100 most likely Monday and Tuesday. We average one 100-degree day per year. The earliest we see that is June 7th. So it's not the earliest, but it is awfully early, that's for sure. Coming up, we're going to talk a little bit more about those 100-degree days and what it will feel like as we go through much of next week.
Elizabeth, thank you. We think. Now, restaurant rodents coming up on tonight's evening news. A Raleigh restaurant has 30 days to rid their kitchen of rodents.
Consequences of the consequences they face if they can't fix that problem. That's on WRAL News at 5 for you.
Then at 6, a man suspected of taking part in a stolen car theft ring set free on $3,000 bond. WRAL investigates after looking into his long list of charges. That story at 6.
A popular children's cough syrup is no longer on shelves over possible bacterial contamination. MedTech Products Inc. has recalled 5 lots of its Little Remedies honey cough syrup. It's due to a toxic bacteria, and the FDA says the bacteria can cause 2 types of foodborne illnesses, and high exposure can even cause death. The product was distributed nationwide online and in stores from December 14th, 2022 to June 4th, 2025. So far, there have been no illnesses reported. Consumers are urged to stop using the product immediately.
Honda is recalling more than 259,000 of its cars because the brake pedal could shift out of position. The recall covers certain Honda pilots between model years 2023 and 2025. It also affects some of the company's Acura brand vehicles. If your car is affected, you can take it to your local Honda dealer and have the brake pedal inspected and fixed for free.
Meta is adding a new feature to Facebook to help prevent phishing scams. The social media giant says it is rolling out passkeys to its mobile app. Passkeys are viewed as a safer and easier way to log into accounts because they typically can't be stolen or guessed. Users will be able to log in using a face scan, a PIN, or fingerprint. Meta says the new feature will launch in the coming months.
Delta Airlines is the best airline for the 7th year in a row. That's according to the travel expert known as the Points Guy. The company's 2025 report was released yesterday. It ranks airlines based on their reliability, loyalty programs, cost and reach, and more. Delta scored high marks for consistently being on time and having good customer service. Coming in second on the best airlines list, United Airlines, and in third place, Southwest. More than 379,000 people became millionaires last year. That's about 1,000 a day, according to a new report by multinational investment bank UBS. The U.S. holds nearly 24 million millionaires. That's 40% of the global total. Wealth grew 11% thanks to a stable U.S. dollar and rising market. A UBS economist says it's too early to tell if that will slow down this year.
Record-breaking travel as the summer travel season kicks off. AAA is projecting millions of people are expected to take to the skies over the 4th of July weekend. What you can expect at airports across the country. That's ahead.
Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
Breaking news right now, an Amtrak train is at a halt after hitting a person in Clayton.
WRAL's Ken Smith is in the live center right now with what we know about this, Ken.
Jeff and Renee, the Sky 5 just showed up over this scene just a short time ago. This happened just after 11 o'clock this morning. Clayton police saying that a person walked in the path of the Amtrak train. This is Amtrak train 175. That's Front Street you're looking at, that's surrounded by all that crime scene tape. And of course, the person who walked in front of that train died at that scene, according to police. Now, right now, that train is stopped. It's not moving anywhere. It's right on the 400 block of Front Street. It stopped at Central. It's a long train, to be honest with you. It's not going anywhere anytime soon. We're working to figure out the person's identity and how this all happened. But again, as Sky 5 pulls back to show you exactly what we're talking about, this is the train that we're talking about, the Amtrak train, where that person walked in front of just after 11 o'clock this morning. This is at Front Street and Central there in Clayton. We will stay on top of this story and bring you any new developments as they come into the newsroom.
So horrible for everyone involved. We will learn today whether Governor Josh Stein will veto a high-profile immigration bill that has sparked protests. More than a dozen protesters gathered in front of the governor's mansion early this morning. They banged pans, rang bells, and chanted, held up signs demanding the governor to veto anti-immigration bills. We will bring you any update on the governor's decision on those bills here on WRAL. The state Senate passed a bill that would block people from under the age of 21 from buying products containing THC. The bill would limit how much THC drinks, edibles, and vapes could contain. It would also completely ban synthetic THC like Delta 8 and Delta 10, as well as kratom. Retailers would have to pay for a license to sell the products, which would be regulated much like alcohol. And THC products would have to be tested for safety. The measure now goes to the State House.
2 people are charged because a 16-year-old girl was shot in Tarboro. Police say it happened shortly before 7 last night on Linden Street. The teenager was shot in the leg and she was taken to the hospital. Police have issued arrest warrants for Zaquan Whitehead and Messiah Whitehead. We don't know yet if they're related or how, and if so, we'll let you know when we find out.
We'll take you back to another breaking story that's unfolding in Harnett County. That's where a plane has crashed shortly after takeoff. WRAL's Grace Haba has just received new information about this crash. Grace, what can you tell us?
We just learned some more details just moments ago from State Highway Patrol, who is taking the lead on this investigation. And unfortunately, it is sad news. 2 people have passed away in this crash here off Holly Springs Road this morning. We were able to get a little closer to the scene, and you can see now all of that charred rubble that is left behind from the plane, as well as what appears to be a propeller on the ground, a bright yellow piece of propeller. We are told that it was a pilot and 1 passenger who were on board this plane, and that it took off from Raleigh Executive Jetport in Sanford. And we are told it was only in the air for about 5 minutes before witnesses say they watched it crash here just behind this boat. You can see the front of the boat too, covered in ash as well. Those who watched this crash say the plane quickly caught fire. A woman that we spoke to says her first thought was to try to see if she herself had any type of fire extinguisher that she could use before she ultimately called 911. But definitely a sad update here this morning. 2 people have passed away in this crash here off Holly Springs Road. We're still working to learn more information about what exactly caused this crash to begin with, and we will keep you updated both on air and online as we continue to gather more details out here in Harnett County. For now, reporting live, Grace Haba, WRAL News.
Pride Preps, what you can expect at Raleigh's biggest LGBTQ festival this weekend, and the new aspect to the celebration.
Horseback backlash at Holden Beach. Why the town blocked a family that was making a cross-country trip on horseback from entering the town, and the social media backlash from it. Remember, you can watch WRAL News live anytime on WRAL.com or the WRAL app on your streaming device. New data from AAA predicts record-setting travel for this year's 4th of July holiday. More than 2.3 million North Carolinians will take a trip the week of Independence Day. That's an increase of nearly 80,000 from last year. Ryan Nobles explains what travelers can expect to see across the country.
America's summer of travel, already in full swing. and now expecting a big surge over the next couple weeks. AAA projects more than 72 million people are expected to travel 50 miles or more over the July 4th holiday period, starting the weekend before. A vast majority, more than 61.5 million, by car.
By the time you get to Saturday, June 28th, most kids are out of school, so that's when families can start making moves. The two worst days that we're anticipating on the roads are going to be Wednesday, July 2nd and Sunday, July 6th.
Come on. Another 5.8 million are expected to fly. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy in San Diego Thursday to showcase what he calls an urgent need for equipment upgrades and control towers, as he said the FAA is dealing with a shortage of controllers nationwide.
They should not be using this equipment. I think Americans expect much better. I'm pulling every lever I can to get as many controllers to stay and into the pipeline and certified to make sure we don't have that shortage.
One airport where things have improved recently, Newark Liberty, following equipment outages, staffing issues, and a runway under construction. United Airlines, which uses Newark as a major hub, says since the runway reopened, it's gone from 15th to 1st for on-time airports. The airline also says it's prepared as the FAA anticipates its busiest summer travel in the last 15 years.
We are fully staffed, fully prepared, and ready for summer.
That was Ryan Nobles reporting.
Pride returns to Raleigh, and Juneteenth celebrations continue all across the area. Let's take a look at what's happening across the Triangle this weekend. WRAL's Out and About. Out Raleigh annual parade event returns to the downtown area this weekend. The festival, focused on celebrating the Triangle's LGBTQ community, will bring family-friendly entertainment, local food and vendors, and a beer garden, all to Fayetteville Street. The main event runs from noon until 7 p.m. tomorrow, and all new this year, there'll be an adult-focused Pride Night tonight from 6 p.m. until 10 p.m. This weekend's filled with events in recognition of Juneteenth. Tomorrow, NC Central will host a festival celebrating culture and freedom on its campus. That'll be from 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. There are also events in Garner, Cary, Holly Springs, Apex, and many more towns. You can find the full list as well as more Out and About pics at WRAL.com. Just click the Out and About tab.
Saddle Stop, a family's journey across the country, comes to an unexpected halt at Holden Beach. Next, what ended their trip and why some are blaming town leaders.
Happening now in the WRAL Live Center, Cumberland County making the decision today to end negotiations to reopen the homeless shelter, the Salvation Army homeless shelter there in Fayetteville. This is video of that shelter that we've been doing a number of stories on since it abruptly closed several weeks ago. Cumberland County leaders citing multiple ongoing issues and unresolved concerns to end these discussions. Now, this decision comes 3 days after the Salvation Army resubmitted a revised contract to reopen that shelter after the Cumberland County leaders sent it back. Now, in a statement, Cumberland County leaders say they are committed to supporting individuals experiencing homelessness. We will stay on top of this story and let you know what's next for that property.
Thanks, Ken. A family's cross-country trip on horseback ended on foot in Brunswick County. The group and their horses were blocked from entering Holden Beach. J.C. Caldwell explains why people online are now blaming the town.
Meet 18-year-old Levi White and 16-year-old Lucas. The brothers, like most their age, have spent their teenage years learning.
He might fight that.
But instead of learning from a classroom, they've done it from the back of a horse.
We've gone 4,000 miles and across 16 states horseback so far. This is our family's version, or this is my brother and I's version of our high school.
Their high school experience started in April of 2022 in Nevada, where they're from.
It shouldn't have took guilt to spur me on to do something like this, but I missed a lot of time with them and I regretted it. But it's never too late to fix it. This was my wife and I's greatest attempt at parenthood.
They planned to end the 3-year trip Tuesday in Holden Beach. But the White family never made it across this bridge or here to Holden Beach. And that's because of a city ordinance, code 90.03. It states in part, quote, it's unlawful to keep or maintain a cow, horse, pony, mule, or other livestock within corporate limits.
He's still planning it.
It's a law the White family didn't know about until they say town officials notified them when they were about only 4 miles away.
I think more than anything, it was a misunderstanding.
After many people took to social media upset about how the family's trip might end, town leaders posted on Facebook saying, quote, "The short notice of the request prevented staff from seeking an exemption to the ordinance. The town is unable to make exceptions for ordinance violations without going through the proper channels."
We're not here to break laws. We're not here to change the way things are. So we went ahead and walked the rest of it.
But since the family promised the horses would make it to the Atlantic Ocean too, they've changed course and will now be riding off to Sunset Beach to officially end their trek.
We've learned on this trip that nothing is going to stop us.
Regardless of what beach they end at, they all agree horsing around has been the trip and high school experience of a lifetime.
That was J.C. Caldwell reporting.
This is disturbing. Collapsed graves. That's what some families are finding in Pitt County. Graves at Northeast Cemetery in Ayden are sitting wide open, just cracks in them. Some are taking on water. Some of the holes are big enough you can see the caskets inside. One family noticed this in the area this past Father's Day, and they say some of the caskets are in such poor condition they're about to float right out of the ground. The town of Ayden has not yet commented on the conditions.
A school in Hyde County received a surprise visitor. A 5-foot alligator was spotted on the athletic campus of Mattamuskeet High School near the Pamlico Sound. Most students are in summer break, but there were 20 students on campus for a reading camp there. The ordeal allowed for an impromptu learning lesson for the kids. Some were able to ask the wildlife biologist questions before they removed the gator. Made for a memorable day for that reading camp. All of a sudden they're looking up from their books. What's that? A gator.
Talking about these surprise visitors.
Right.
They're not surprises anymore, right?
I guess not.
It's amazing. Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. What a clear, nice day out there right now.
Yeah, it may be a little surprise for you as you step outside. I mean, it's still going to be hot, 90 degrees, but it's been feeling more like close to triple digits, and that's where we're headed again in just a couple of days. But in North Hills, we have beautiful sunshine. Our temperatures have been, pretty normal for this time of year. We're taking a look at our front that moved through. That one, of course, is the one that caused all the thunderstorms yesterday and created some wind damage, lightning, and maybe kept you awake last night. Well, once that front moved through, our wind is now coming out of the north. And so that has delivered a slightly drier air mass. It feels fairly comfortable outside right now. I mean, relative to the time of year, that's for sure. This is a look at how many places saw wind damage, though. All those circles there are where we had damaging winds. So some of those around Fayetteville and Clinton, a cluster of those around the Triangle and over toward Wilson County, then another line up near the Virginia border. So there was a lot of them, around 40 reports of wind damage. So our next weather maker begins to build in over the next couple of days, bringing dangerous heat by Monday, Tuesday, maybe even into Wednesday and Thursday. And our potential for thunderstorms is now pretty minimal for the next 7 days. It's all because of a high pressure system. High pressure systems have sinking air, and that dries the atmosphere out, at least in terms of the ability to produce showers and thunderstorms. As it compresses like this, it heats, though. So we have a big heat dome that sits over us. And there's the possibility that this is one of the strongest high pressure systems for this time of year. And of course, that just means that, it's going to be very hot. For today, our temperature around 90, 91. That's what it'll feel like during the afternoon. Tomorrow, it'll feel like 96. So we're getting borderline on the danger zone. And then it'll feel like 101 on Sunday, 110 on Monday, 113 on Tuesday, 108 on Wednesday. So Monday and Tuesday are already WRAL weather alert days for that intense heat. We're watching Wednesday, the high temperature 99, and we'll sort of watch where that heat index ends up going for Wednesday. What can you do? Well, avoid outdoor work if possible in the middle of the day. Now, there's some folks who work outside, and so that becomes rather tricky, but hopefully you can shift schedules maybe a little bit earlier in the day. Make sure you're drinking a lot of water and electrolytes, and then, of course, just realize that the number of days that you're exposed to high heat increases your chances of coming down with heat-related illnesses like heat exhaustion. So just be especially careful if you can, again, just limit the time or the number of days that you have to be outside working. Our rain chances are only 10% for a few days between now and the middle of next week, but we're doing fine with rain, as a matter of fact. In terms of the drought status, we are looking really good, which is wonderful because we're about to turn really hot. Even though the drought status looks fine, I would encourage you to think about starting to maybe water your garden, that sort of thing, early next week, just because it'll be so hot. How about outside plans over the weekend? Just use some caution for tomorrow. It's going to feel like the mid-90s. By Sunday, it's going to feel like the low 100s, so you definitely want to put off any outdoor events in the afternoon. It just stays hot again Monday and Tuesday at 100. Those would be the first two 100-degree days that we've seen this year.
Hey, thanks for that, Elizabeth. 100 miles of shopping. Can you imagine this? The state's largest yard sale kicked off this morning. If you haven't joined in the fun on this one, you still have time. Up ahead, when the 301 Endless Yard Sale is expected to wrap up. We're wrapping things up with a look at a few of the headlines we're following for you today as we stay on top of breaking news. 2 people are dead after a plane crash in Harnett County. In the last hour, we learned the pilot and passenger died. Pitt's aerobatics plane took off from the executive jet port in Sanford this morning. State troopers tell us it was in the air for about 5 minutes before it crashed on the property of a boat dealership on Holly Springs Church Road. National Transportation Safety Board is on the way. The FAA is investigating. Our crews are in Harnett County working to gather information, and we'll bring you the latest on WRAL News at 4.
Search crews have found the body of a missing fisherman in Jordan Lake. The Chatham County Sheriff's Office identified the man as 21-year-old Nestor Ramirez Meniver. They say he was fishing near the rocks below the B. Everett Jordan Dam last night when he fell in. The area below the dam is known for fast-moving water and slippery, uneven terrain.
Out Raleigh Pride kicks off tonight, and while crews set up for the festival on Fayetteville Street, organizers and police are rolling out extra safety measures. It includes 150 trained volunteers who will work right alongside Raleigh police and private security. It comes as there's concern about recent anti-LGBTQ rhetoric and vandalism of pride flags across the Triangle. The adult-only kickoff runs from tonight 6 to 10, and the family-friendly festival returns tomorrow from noon to 7. It's a new venue for Fayetteville's Pride Festival this weekend. The event will be held inside the Crown Complex tomorrow instead of at Festival Park, as it has been in years past. Organizers cite safety and security concerns as one reason for the move. They also say it'll help people escape the heat. Fayetteville Pride runs from 10 a.m. until 8 p.m. tomorrow.
North Carolina's largest and longest yard sale is underway until 5 o'clock today, and then from 7 until 5 tomorrow. Shoppers can search through over 100 miles of used goods at the 301 Endless Yard Sale. The sale stretches along Highway 301 through 5 different counties. You will find everything and anything at the sale, from clothes and toys to farm equipment and antiques. Learn more about the Endless Yard Sale online.
5 counties. That brings us to today's pet of the day. This is Rocky. He is 12 years old. Rocky loves affection and would choose snuggles over treats any day. He's low energy, pretty easygoing guy. Rocky's adoption fee is $120, which includes his neuter, microchip, vaccines, and other wellness care. For more information, you can contact SPCA of Wake County.
Go out now and enjoy the weather. Coming up on WRAL News at 4, chill your energy bill. Temperatures climbing. We look at ways to beat the heat without breaking the bank. Today will feel the nicest in the next 7 days. So get on out there. NBC News Daily is next on WRAL. Your next local news update in 30 minutes.
Have a great, safe weekend.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.